What's up guys, and welcome to the third episode of the CYC Dream build series. We hope that you guys have been enjoying this series so far, and don't be shy to let us know what builds you'd like to see in the future episodes. For those of you who missed the previous Dream builds, this series is made to showcase some awesome e-bikes that can be assembled using the CYC mid-drive e-bike conversion kits. We cover aspects of the bike itself and the conversion kit used, but also share a component list and the total build cost at the end. Stay tuned. In this episode, we'll be fitting the X1 Pro Gen 4 with the A-65 battery pack onto a 2022 Scott Spark. And yes, the Spark is one of our favorite frames to use. Ample triangle space, steep down tube, full suspension. We started with the peripherals on this one as opposed to the motor installation, simply to get it out of the way and get to the fun part. We used the DS103 display because of the larger screen so that it's easier to read when flying through the trails. We also went with a full twist throttle, not only to keep the cockpit simple, but also to give it more of a dirt bike feel. After all, that's the kind of power you can expect with this motor and battery combo. The Scott Spark is by design a cross-country trail riding bike that's lightweight, agile, and responsive on descents. This means it's stable on high speeds, yet versatile due to the 3-position twin-lock suspension that's completely concealed inside the frame. Single pivot with a flex pivot in the seat stay. It also has a 65.8-degree head tube angle, making it burly and a good match for the motor. If you've been following the Dream Build series, you'll know that aesthetics is an important part for us, but we still want to keep things mounted securely. On the Scott Spark, we drilled an extra hole into the frame to secure the battery rail properly, since we don't want to use the hose clamps or zip ties provided. We'd like to emphasize that the A-65 is the heaviest piece of the puzzle and not made to be mounted on the water bottle cage mount inserts alone. So we sacrificed the frame's warranty for the extra bit of sleekness. The sideways slide-in method of the A-65 makes it possible to get this larger pack into the triangle. Your battery specs has such a significant impact on your mileage and power output, but we can't have it all. So the A-65 does not have a quick release like the A-52 packs, but the extra voltage and amp hours along with the easy installation makes it ideal to be paired with the X1 Pro's output capabilities. The CYC kits use a magnetic wheel speed sensor, which is placed on the lower swing arm with a magnet mounted on a spoke. It's important to note that the kit's Bluetooth module sits inside the speed sensor. This means that there is no connecting to the app if the speed sensor is not plugged in. If the crankset is already removed, then installing the motor system can be quick. Of course, with the battery pack being 65 volts, the X1 Pro Gen 4 is currently the only motor system compatible with it. But keep an eye out for new kit releases, as this won't always be the case. The X1 Pro Gen 4 is rated at 5,000 watts, 6,000 watt peak, with a 280 Nm peak torque, making it the ultimate off-road e-bike. It features a unique dual chain system using a 219H chain for the motor drive. Using the 104 BCD chainring also makes it belt drive compatible, since you can easily swap out the inner chainring. Since we want to achieve a solid top speed, but is restricted by the chainstay, we opt for the 38 teeth chainring. The frame's bottom bracket is a BB92, but with the CYC kits, we try to ensure components are compatible across different versions. So you'll see that we provide a BB92 to BSA adapters by default that needs to be installed into the BB shell. This allows us to use the same spindle and left BB cup as the BSA 100mm version. Since the frame has already been tampered with, we tapped 2 additional holes and made a custom hanger for the motor so that it can be secured directly to the frame instead of using the motor hanger provided. The force of the motor when powered is significant, so it's important to get the motor sitting snug against the frame. The CYC cranksets on all the latest generations are ISI splined. Although you'll need to use the spindle provided with the kit, it does mean that you can use third-party crank arms. When connecting the motor to the battery, it's important to connect the controller with the battery before turning on the battery's power button. And finally, tidy up the cables and adding the chain. And the frame that we used, 22 model Scott Spark in yellow. We were able to procure the bike at $2,200, but you should be able to get it on retail for below $3,000. The motor is the X1 Pro Gen 4 from CYC and will cost you $1,200. The A-65 battery pack also comes in at an additional $1,100. Then we have additional costs such as the labor and peripherals, making the bike's total $4,895. Okay guys, that's it for the third episode of the CYC Dream build series using the Scott Spark, A-65 battery, and X1 Pro Gen 4. Let us know what you guys think in the comments and see you in the next one.